This is Lunchtime Politics, with you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you up to speed with the big stories we're tracking in politics and in the polity. Inspector General of Police reads Riot Act to tactical units of the police force, directs all tactical officers with mufti. It says they must not bear arms henceforth. Former Vice President Atiku says his presence at the residence of the former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, was a courtesy visit and nothing political. And the Director General of the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association joins us on the program to highlight the implications of the new 4% free on board charge by Customs Service and the 15% NPA port charges on businesses across the country. Thanks again for joining us on the program. We'll give you all access pass to what's going on in politics and in the polity right here at midday on Channels Television. Two broad issues I will be dealing with today. One has to do with the state of our economy, and then the other has to do with politics as to what is going on with the NNPP, the New Nigeria People's Party. But let's tell you first that as part of efforts to reinforce operational integrity and ensure effective management within the Nigerian police force, the Inspector General of Police, Abeokuta, has again convened a virtual meeting with strategic police managers. A statement signed by his Force Public Relations Officer, Adejobi, says during the meeting, the IGP addressed several pressing issues with the aim to bolster ethical and professional conduct of police personnel across the country. In that particular meeting, he did read the Riot Act to the police force as far as the tactical unit of the police force is concerned. Let's take a listen.
The directive I gave with respect to transfer of case files is that before you transfer any case from any command, you must first of all ask for the duplicate case file. Look at the duplicate case file. If you see anything that they are doing in that command that is not right, you must get approval from the IG before you call for the transfer of that case file. Also, the headquarters have been receiving complaints from members of the public on how your tactical squads are abusing their powers. Command CPs must lecture their officers in the tactical units to be civil to members of the public. I've also heard reports of some of them appearing in mufti while in operation. That must stop henceforth. There has also been complaints from members of the public on abuse of human rights by policemen generally. Command CPs must pay special attention to the conduct of their policemen and ensure that on no account is a policeman found guilty of human rights abuse.
I think of greatest interest to the public will be that part where the men were in the tactical unit bearing arms and being in mufti. The police force, IGP, has said no more. Let's also tell you that the former Vice President Atiku has declined comments after meeting with former President Olusegun Obasanjo for about 2 hours. He was accompanied to the meeting held at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, by the former governors of Sokoto State, Tambuwal and Imoke of Cross River State. When approached by journalists, Mr. Abubakar declined comment, as he said it was a courtesy visit.
Hey, Mr. A lot of people believe that you and Peter Obi have been having meetings for so long.
It's a courtesy visit, please.
Is this related to
I'm not going to talk about politics, please.
All right. Thank you. Is this connected?
Let's go. Thank you very much.
Well, said it's a courtesy visit, so we'll take it at that. Well, we'll see how the next few weeks will play out as far as these courtesy visits are concerned. And perhaps these visits are part of the political alignment and realignment, though he has denied it, given the state of the economy and what other people are proffering as solution. That's why I've been joined in the program by the Director General of the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, who joins us via Zoom from Abuja, the nation's capital, Mr. Wale Smart Oyerinde joins us. Mr. Smart, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and good afternoon, viewers.
All right. Where do we even begin from? There's a lot going on as far as the Consultative Association is concerned. So let's begin with the very basic things you're complaining about. And that has to do with some of the charges that the MPA and the customs have raised. From what I read, free FOB charge coming to about 4%. MPA charges now is coming to about 15%. Maybe you break it down for us what this means.
Thank you very much once again. And for us, it's simple and very important that we are all on the same page on where exactly we are going and what exactly we want to achieve as a nation. We cannot in one breath say we want to achieve this, we want to achieve inclusive growth, we want to reduce the unemployment rate. We can't say we want enterprise sustainability to be a major part of our development plan. And at the same time, we keep doing things that negates that noble objective. Now, the 4% FOB came up. Some have said it is legal. Yeah, we accept it's legal. It's the law. But sometimes, sometimes you look at the timing of the implementation, you look at the appropriateness of the implementation, you look at the consequences of the implementation per time. That it is the law doesn't mean it will serve our general good at any point in time. And that is the basic issue for us. Businesses are already burdened with quite a lot. And what is happening with custom is just a shadow of what is happening in many other agencies that have taken it upon themselves to take revenue generation as their primary role rather than promoting enterprise sustainability, which is worrisome for us. Now, for those businesses that will pay the MPA charge, that will pay the 4% levy, that will pay the Financial Reporting Council levy, that will pay this levy, that will pay that levy, these are the basic imports. Jobs will likely be lost. A business will likely shed weight, reduce capacity utilization. And when you shed weight and you reduce capacity utilization, the chances is that you fuel insecurity because those that will lose their job, they have nowhere to go. And those are the critical issues that we are looking at. You can't say you want to generate revenue and not be worried about what happens, what are the consequences of those revenue that you are generating. For us, it's simple as that. Yet it is the law, but we must apply the law within the context of what is the general objective that we are trying to drive. Drive these businesses out of operation. You increase unemployment rate, you increase insecurity rate, and you cannot rightly, and this is quite important, you cannot rightly say the business should not pass those costs to the consumer. And the consumer income, the disposable income of an average Nigerian has also been hit by so many increases of recent. We have the electricity tariff increase, the telcos Rightly so, because those businesses also have to remain in business. They increase their tariff, which is within the context of their right. But we are burdening the masses, because the more this price of goods and services continue to increase, the more difficult it becomes for these individuals and average Nigerians
all right,
to
Mr.
patronize
Yorinde,
the business.
let's contextualize this.
And lastly,
Okay.
if you permit me, lastly, please. The more the price of the goods, the lesser the disposable income of the individual, the higher the number of unsold stocks that the business will also have. And once the business cannot sell the stock, imagine a business that borrowed money to produce and it cannot sell the stock. Where exactly do you want him to go?
Okay, I don't know whether the
Those
government...
are the basic issues.
Yes, I don't know whether the government is... I know that Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Fiscal and Taxation Reform Committee, had mentioned that inventory is to the tune of ₦1 trillion that have not been sold as we speak. The reason I had to bring you in to speak to this issue, because I got a message from somebody that said, dear esteemed customers, the Nigerian Customs Service has introduced a new fee called the Financing NCS Operations, which the fixed amount is 1.5 million naira added to the clearing price. The new clearing price is now 17.5 million. God will provide the explanation. I needed you to, I don't know what this is, but since you're in that space, I would like you to speak to it and confirm or not whether this is what is going on. But as it stands right now, I have to read this to say, as it stands right now, FOB charge as well as MPA charges, how much is it at the moment?
I can't confirm explicitly for now, but I can tell you for a fact that what you just read, while I can't say it's absolutely true, but it is not far from the truth.
Okay, so I'm asking again, I added another question to say, how much are you charging, are they charging you for FOB, and how much are they charging you for MPH, the charge from the MPA end at the moment, the port charge? How much is it now? Because we know the new one is about 4% and 15%.
I don't have the actual figure, so I don't quote a figure that will be libelous. But the reality for us is the FOB charge 4% has been added, and the post charge has also been increased significantly. While in the current state, you are taking the punch. You are taking the punch, you are taking the pain, you are struggling to remain sustainable. Competitiveness is not even in your diary for now. It is sustainability. And in that state of struggling to remain sustainable, you are having other charges, other levies, coming not only from customs, but from so many different agencies of government that are so thirsty for revenue. And this is a concern for us.
So if you were to make a proposal to the government, because we had that concern at the very beginning, it's impressive how the government wants to, generate revenue. I know under the Muhammadu Buhari administration, they said the problem was not a debt problem because our threshold is fine given to the ratio with GDP. That was a revenue problem. So the Bola Tinubu administration is trying to drive aggressive revenue generation as much as possible. But it looks like that good intention is hurting businesses. And I think you are quoted, or one of your organization was quoted as to how much is going to trickle down to the sector in terms of what it will drag out from the sector that will be passed on to consumers like us. So if you were to make a proposal to the government as to how to approach this, what will it be?
Now, first, do we need revenue? Absolutely we do. We do need revenue. Then, do we need businesses to remain sustainable, to survive? Absolutely, we need businesses to survive, because out of every 10 jobs created, the private sector creates about 8 of them. Now, you need to balance your expectation. If I focus strictly on revenue, what are the consequences, the unintended consequences? Because the way it is, Custom will come out tomorrow and say, look, we have met our budget. Now, the Ministry of Labor will come out tomorrow, or the MBS will come out tomorrow and reel out the number of unemployment youth that we have. And Custom will not believe that it has invalidly contributed to the number of the unemployment rate. So there needs to be more coordination for us. Because for revenue generation, which is very important, then what are the unintended consequences of driving the business out of business, or driving the business to reduce its capacity utilization, or driving the business to reduce the jobs that the capacity that it can create? So more dialogue needs to be held. We need more consultation. We need more engagement so that we can find a balance, a very critical balance between all these variables. Revenue, very important. Business sustainability, extremely important. Job creation, absolutely important.
Would you describe the current situation we find ourselves from the employer's point of view that at the moment the business environment in Nigeria is hostile? Is that how you're describing it?
Yeah, from the regulatory perspective, it is hostile.
Okay. The reason I asked that critical question is because the government has said some of the fiscal measures being put out by the government is on a short-term pain for a long-term gain. What incentive is the government putting out? Because even in the proposal that was put out, that was now signed off by the Governors Forum, one of the things that was done, say, okay, leave this where it is, don't increase this and don't increase that. There were no really decrease of CIT for businesses. So what incentive is the government putting forward to say, for us to do this that you're complaining about, we will do this so it can ease the pressure? Is there anything like that, if you can share with us?
You know, I think many of us, we have not really focused on the main issues, you know, and part of those issues are part of the contradictions or the cancelling effect that we unconsciously impose on ourselves. Now, the government has done quite a bit supporting manufacturers. You know, they've given the 75 billion support grant for manufacturers. The Smedan is doing quite a lot supporting the manufacturing industry. The different Ministry of Industry and Investment. Many of components of the government, they are making definitive plans, implementing definitive actions to support businesses. But within the same context, you have, it's just like you are giving 1 million naira grants as a gift, and you collected the 1 million naira from the person that gave you the gift. As you went outside, as you leave the room, somebody is waiting for you to start tasking you, to start requesting for levies, requesting for fees, requesting for so many things that will make nonsense of the 1 million naira that you've been giving. Now we have publicized that, yes, I've collected 1 million naira, but the regulatory framework, the environment, has made it quite impossible for me to maximize the value of that 1 million naira and to turn over that 1 million naira to contribute to the economy. Those are the issues. Government is doing quite a lot at the executive level, but what is happening at the regulatory space, sometimes it is worrisome. And those are the issues we need to fix.
I must thank you so much, Mr. Oyorinde, for coming on the program. It's an ongoing conversation. I'm seeing the numbers you're putting out there. It's going to squeeze out 2.8 trillion from private businesses and increase duty paid by industries by 80%. So it's an ongoing engagement. We'll bring the regulators as well to the table. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale Smart Oyorinde, the DG of NECA, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch gears to core politics. The NNPP have been having some, back and forth as to what is going on with the leadership. The Boniface and Abeokuta group has constituted an NWC in a convention in Lagos where Mr. Angbo has now been elected the chairman. So there's a faction in the NNPP. Well, the legal advisor, Robert Horn, will join me in just a moment to break it down. Join us again. Welcome back. Let's switch gears to the issue of the NNPP, New Nigeria People's Party. Legal advisor of that party joins us, Mr. Robert Horn. Mr. Horn, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Geoff.
Okay,
thank you, Nigerians.
So the other day we saw that the Abeokuta Boniface group had actually elected an NWC. I think that was on the 4th of February, led by Mr. Agbo Major, and there has been that back and forth. But you've been reacting. Tell us what exactly is going on with the NNPP. It looks like every other party, apart from the APC, although they have their issues, but not as broken as some of the other parties right now. What is going on with the NNPP?
Mr. Geoffrey, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to clear the air once and for all. I repeat that, once and for all. You know, false narratives, when they dominate the public space, the have a ability of wearing the toga of truth, falsehood. You first mentioned the word faction. I want to correct that impression first and foremost. NNPP does not have any faction. NNPP is intact. You know, faction means members of the party who have decided to break into groups. That's where you have faction. In this case, the people you are calling them faction or group, they are not members of NNPP. They are not members of NNPP. That is authoritatively, I'm telling you authoritatively, they are not members of NNPP. There is a subsisting court judgment delivered on the 18th of April, 2024, that has affirmed that those group or those people are not members of NNPP. So for the media to continue, particularly a very responsible and one of the most popular media houses in Nigeria and even across the world, to be saying faction or group, NNPP, divided crisis, is spreading false narratives. I have to correct that impression first and foremost.
Okay, so let's be clear. Hold on, just a moment, So, so when were they suspended? Because I know you people, you say you're suspended. There was, I'm in copy of a court order, an ex parte that was granted interim injunction based pending the determination of interlocutory injunction that you were seeking for. I think that was in January that was granted, and the issue of notice was supposed to be heard somewhere late January. If these people were suspended, how come you asked for that ex parte order?
Very well. They were not just suspended, they were expelled. They are expelled members. You know, the commitment of expulsion or even suspension is that you have no rights again. Your privileges, your rights have been completely cut off. Suspension may be their abeyance. And when you are expelled, you are no longer a member of that association. So you cannot agitate any issue pending that association. Why we went to court to restrain them is this. They are being carried out in the name of NNPP. And now spreading that false narrative in the public space. NNPP, NNPP, NNPP. So the public are misled. That's why we went to court to correct that impression. Restrain them from using that name at all. They have no right to use the name NNPP. Even though they use NNPP, they bring a different logo, a different symbol, but it's capable of misleading the public. NNPP, when you hear NNPP, you'll be thinking of that political party registered with INEC in accordance with the law, but unwittingly they are spreading a different NNPP, confusing the public. That's why we went to court. Like you said, rightly too. We went to court, and the court gave a restraining order, an interim restraining order on the 16th day of January, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. That motion was heard on the 31st of January, 2025. The court has reserved a date for ruling to be communicated to us in due course. So it was within that period. They were served with the restraining order. They were served with all necessary processes. They came to court. They entered their own appearance, their own defense. They came physically, their lawyers came. It was within that period that on the 4th of February, in defiance, brazen disregard, contemptuous of court orders, went and held a bazaar, that charade, in a hotel lobby somewhere in Apapa, Lagos. So you see, when the rules or the rule of law is being completely disobeyed by certain people, it gives room for anarchy.
All right, so that means
sending a word of caution here. Sorry. We are sending a word of caution here that we are not a banana republic. Nigeria is a constitutional republic. We operate by laws. And the court has unfettered powers
Okay.
to interpret and enforce these laws.
Okay, in going
So
forward...
when the court give orders...
Okay. As we begin to wind down...
When the court give orders, it behoves of every lawful citizen, except you are lawless, as those other people are pretending to be. Except you are lawless, you are supposed to obey the orders of the court.
All right, Mr. On, so if you listen to what I was saying, I was actually asking whether you have a divided house, and you should actually be thanking us for giving you the opportunity to come and clear the air rather than saying we're doing this or that or the other. So how is the party going to move forward from here? Because those gentlemen appear not to be backing down anytime soon, and the 2027 general elections is barely 2 years plus away. And winding down in just 1 minute.
It's an exercise in futility, my dear brother. That's an exercise in futility. What they are doing cannot give them anything apart from the fact that they are doing their paymaster's duty. But I want to tell you that what they have succeeded in doing other parties, other opposition parties, they can never, ever succeed with NNPP. So just be rest assured. We are kicking stronger, we are moving stronger in one force, one firm and unified force towards 2027. These are just side attractions that do not amount to anything at all. NNPP is not missing their sleep, is not losing their sleep because of the antics of those renegades.
Okay, the use of language is quite important so that we extend courtesy to everybody, no matter, they have a right to do whatever they want to do as long as they are citizens, but it has to be within the law. I must thank you so much.
Exactly.
Mr. Robert Horn, legal advisor of the NNPP, New Nigeria People's Party. We'll continue to touch base with the political parties like yours as well as things develop so that you can clarify and not say we are calling you faction and all of that. If we see groups that are part of you, we'll ask questions. That's what we brought you to answer, and you've answered. Thank you for coming on the program, Mr. Horn.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey.
And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. We'll be back again tomorrow, God willing. For more on the program, I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.